Hari Om. We are going to talk today about our Gurudev, Swami Shankaratilaka, has given to us on the topic psychosomatization. It is a very interesting topic that I wanted to share with you some of the key points that our Gurudeva has explained to us because they can help you to live a better life and live your life avoiding suffering. As you, as you know, psychosomatization is a field of study that has been increasing its importance nowadays in these past 10 years. And it is the study of the relationship established between the sufferings or the pain you suffer in your body in relation with the mind. So this means that when our mind is in suffering and we are trying to cope with some kind of conflicts, mental conflicts, emotional conflicts, and we don't know how to cope with them, this supposes one obstacle to our mind. If we have not been trained in the abilities, in the capacities to solve these type of difficulties in life, then we automatically somatize in our body. Means that the suffering we are experiencing in our mind cannot be solved, and therefore we put this suffering or we launch this suffering to our own bodies. This will create a big damage in the body. This will create damage in our health. So the question is that we have to study our mind. We have to study the state of our mind, and in order to understand what is happening. But sometimes we could be helped by the signals in the body, by the signals given in our health. No, these illnesses or these diseases we are suffering in the body, of the mental conflicts we are experiencing. So it is also understood that this may be the cause root of very much unhappiness in our life. And whether we are able to solve this type of somatization, we could have a better life and a more happier and healthy life, because we are experiencing problems in the field of emotions, but not only the emotions are affected by our conflicts, by our emotional conflicts, but our health is also being affected by, which could be a big problem. Sometimes could be also it could cause very big illnesses. It could be the cause of very important diseases, very severe diseases that we are going to confront due to this somatization. So it's quite interesting to analyze your own body, your own health, and go back to the root, to the origin of this problem in your health. So the question would be to understand what is happening in your body and thinking about analyzing the signals in your body to understand what is happening in your mind. What are the conflicts not being solved in your mind, the emotional conflicts you are not solving that are affecting your own health? So it has been discovered that, for example, this question of somatization is increasing more and more in our society, up to the point that 1 person out of 4 is suffering nowadays or will suffer in the future, either bipolarity or even schizophrenia. So this is quite severe, and so we will have to take attention of this. No, this is a quite important issue that we should not take for little question, no, little non-important. And so one of the questions that lead us to have these traumatic conflicts, non-resolved traumatic conflicts in our mind is the way we live our activities, is the way we live in our lives, is how we occupy ourselves. If we follow a life in which we are continuously engaged in activity, and means that from early in the morning to late in the evening, we are continuously doing things, continuously having our mind active in the things we are doing, means we are not giving any rest to our mind. Then our mind will suffer from this distress, from this continuous activity. Mind as body requires having rest. Therefore, we should understand that it is very important that we change our habits of living habits, no? Because from our daily habits, we will have a consequence. That is, from our habits, we will have certain experiences that will lead to certain emotional states. Then these emotional states make us we think in a certain way, which might be wrong. So if we think in a wrong way, then we will have bad emotions. So it's like going and coming back like a samsara. No, you have these bad emotions, you don't feel good, then your thoughts are also confused. If you don't have clear thoughts, you also have bad habits for your health. And it's a continuous chain, non-stopping change that feeds from your own way of living. And it's like a chain that you have to break at some point and change your habits so that you can also change the way you think, and therefore the way you experience life and the way you feel life, the way how you understand your own emotions and the way how you interpret your own thoughts. In this field of habits, we have to take into consideration that we have to put light, we have to put good understanding in these habits we have during our lives. So the key point is to understand that we have to start with the positivation of our lives. This is essential. This is the key point of all this topic of somatization and how to give the solution to this experience of pain in the body and suffering in the mind. It's the key point is positivize your life, positivize your thoughts, be a positive person. Try to get rid of all your negativities, because negativities are like a big toxin, like a big poison that you put in your mind and that you inject in your brain and in your cells, and has no result but a negative result in yourself and in others, but mainly in yourself. For a negative person will not create any peaceful environment for anyone. A negative person will not create any good environment, and a negative person will also create her own hell in her own mind. So in order to be intelligent human beings, and in order to have our lives in a good serene atmosphere, and cultivate ourselves as serene person, calm person, intelligent people who live lives in a good way, trying to create harmony among each others, we have to be positive. We have to cultivate these positive thoughts. And we have to create also these routines, these habits that will give us some good life, good health, and good thoughts. So there are in yoga the 5 principles for the art of living. That is, you have to first of all learn to breathe. Breathing is nothing to be taken into consideration as something of minor importance. Breathing is really very important, and you have to take the control of your breathing. You have to learn to breathe properly. You have to practice exercises, that is pranayama, to learn to breathe in a correct way, in an appropriate way. Otherwise, you will suffer a lot of different illnesses, both in the body but also in your emotional, mental state. You will suffer from you will get a lot of nervous. You will be nervous. You will suffer from anxiety, and you will not be in calm. That is that is basically something that you have to take into consideration, that breathing will lead you to calmness. It's absolutely linked one to each other. You cannot separate the state of your mind, the state of your calm mind, with the state of your breathing. They come together, then they come closely together, and they walk together the same path. So as long as you can learn how to breathe properly, you will be able to manage your thoughts and to manage your way of thinking, so that you get benefit from your positive, mature thoughts. Another question to be into consideration is the food you eat. If you want to have healthy habits, and if you want to be a healthy person, and you want to have a healthy way of thinking, you have to eat healthy. It's quite obvious. In order to nourish yourself properly, you have to eat sattvic food. You have to eat vegetarian food. You have to eat plenty of vegetables, plenty of fruits, plenty of water, very important as well. And cereals and dairy products and nuts, all the things we know that nature gave us as a big present to cook in our kitchen, wonderful and tasty dishes, no, that make ourselves to enjoy food, not only to enjoy food but also to create a body healthy. So this is the second point that we want to take into consideration. First, we mentioned it was breathing. Second, it was food. And we require to we require also to have the proper rest. It's very important, as we said before, that we rest properly, because we require to have a good energy. We have to be healthy, and we also have to rest our minds. Means that we need to have relaxation in the body. So we will have to absolutely disconnect the action. We cannot be involved in the action continuously without stopping. We have to do some stop at some point so that allow our mind to disconnect from action and disconnect from this continuous um, exercise, no, from this continuous action. Sorry, this is also very obvious, and it is also mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. So, as long as we want to create this state of relaxation in our minds, we should learn and we should practice our meditation. If we practice meditation, then we will be sure that we have the capability, the ability to stop our mind and stop the action and in our mind, you know, so that we are able to have our rest. This okay, I mean that meditation, we can use it as 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 a therapeutic tool. But of course, you know very well, meditation is much more than that. But I'm only explaining how meditation will help us to have a healthy life in this let's say basis, no, this first level of how we can get benefits from our meditation. No, it's on the first level we can obtain relaxation. No, and there is another very interesting exercise you could practice in order to have these stops for the continuous activity. You could do some stops for mindfulness, and then you could, for example, close your eyes, either seated on a chair or standing up, and take some minutes, like 3 minutes, 5 minutes at least, to observe your breathing. That's all. It's very simple exercise of mindfulness, but it will allow you to stop the action, and it will allow you to rest your mind and continue after much more energized. Sorry. And so full of energy. So this is a very simple exercise. We were learning from our Gurudev, and it's wonderful and gives you very good results. And as I said, it's very simple. You just take little time and do some stops during your activity, during your day. Just fix your hours, for example, 2 times a day, 3 times a day, at the same hour, at the same time, every day, at, for example, 10 a.m., at 2 p.m., whatever, no? And every day you do this little stop to take consciousness of yourself, to understand that you are not continuously involved in action, continuously involved in the world, continuously involved in the noise and in the activity. This is very important, and this is very useful for you to practice. So the fourth point would be correct, adequate exercise. If you want to have also good health, you do not only need to eat proper food and breathe properly and have good rest, but you also need to do exercise, physical exercise. This is very important. And we have a wonderful energizing exercise which is original from the south of India, which is Vyayam Yoga. And we practice in the ashram ourselves, and we train ourselves very hard in Vyayam Yoga. And we get a lot of wonderful benefits from the art of breathing, using the body in movement, no, and taking the mind concentrated in what we are doing in our exercise of Vyayam. I encourage you to practice Vyayam very much. If you have never heard of it, you can come to our classes in the ashram, and you will see how beneficial for you, for your health, and for your energy, the VIM yoga is. Another question to take into consideration is the habits or the routines you follow, energizing routines. So, for example, if you want to cultivate a positive mind, if you want to cultivate elevated thoughts, then there are certain arts, certain activities that will help you to elevate your mind. And means not to be basic person that it's only thinking in okay, I go to work, I have to eat, and then I have to rest, or I have to go for some leisure activities. But we have to also cultivate our minds as educated people, as intelligent human beings. Then we need to learn good arts, no, fine arts. For example, if you enjoy music, if you enjoy the nature, if you read poetry, if you enjoy singing, dancing, and if you enjoy philosophy, this will make your mind more elevated, more higher, which makes your mind more subtle and more develops your intelligent faculties as well, no? So we are talking about how different habits can help us to elevate our minds. And it is quite interesting to see. Let me have a look at my notes. Um, so, for example, it's very interesting that we are in contact with the nature. Um, Nature is absolutely a boost of energy for ourselves. Now societies are built within cities, within towns, within villages, and sometimes we do not have even the opportunity to have trees around us, or we only have big buildings, no, and big lot of bricks, cement, and all this stuff, which is absolutely artificial, and it's not in the nature. It's only a creation of the human mind. So we have to consider to come to our roots, to come to our nature. Our nature roots means that we go to the forest, we go to the nature to take the prana, to take the energy, to take the good vibrations. This is very important that we have some time to be in the nature, to share this wonderful source of energy, of natural energy that the trees and the birds and the free open sky give us, no? Otherwise, we are always blocked in an artificial world, no, in towns. And it's very interesting, for example, to see how in Japan they have lovely, wonderful gardens that are very simple gardens. Maybe they are only full with very sattvic elements like a little trees and like stones and waterfalls, but very, very simple, that put your mind in a state of a very sattvic vibration, a very calm vibration. So all these kind of activities we should include in our habits, which would be very positive for us. Now we are going to give a little review, a little time to some of the most common illnesses or symptoms in our health that we face when we are somatizing mental problems, emotional problems in our body. For example, first is headache. This is a very common way of somatization, psychosomatization, that the human beings has. What is the cause of these chronic headaches, these repetitive headaches, which at the first step they don't have any biological or physiological origin. And even when you go to the doctor and you say, "Oh, I have these terrible headaches. I don't know what is the origin. I don't know what is wrong with me," and you want to know the cause, you cannot understand what is the physiological origin of all these. The question is that it has one emotional root, and this is what you have to understand, and this is what you have to discover. So one of the causes of these headaches is that we don't know how to behave. We don't know how to cope with difficulties. We are lacking criteria. We don't know which is the right criteria to take the decisions, to take important decisions in our life. This creates an emotional blockage that does not allow us to flow comfortably in life. Then this blockage is translated into our body in headache. We don't know how to live and develop properly our lives. So this is the neurological tension that we are experiencing, and we are putting it into our body in the form, in the shape of headache. There is another important cause, another reason for suffering such headaches, such chronic headaches, which is not being able to confront yourself, not being able to confront your difficulties and the things which you know are not good in you, which you know are wrong with you. And that attitude of escape, that attitude of escapism of your own self and in front of the problems, this is very common also cause that we have this attitude of escaping from conflicts, avoiding problems. We don't want to suffer, we don't want to confront, we don't want to cope with the obstacle, and then we try to take another way. But the problem will be there. It's not a question that you give a solution to the conflict. It's a question that you are escaping from the conflict. The conflict will be there once and once again, and it will be repeated in your life once and once again, like a samsara. And so the only way to give a solution to the problem is to confront the problem and to look the problem face to face and reasonably think about it with a positive, calm mind and try to find the solution. That is the only way we have to give solution to our own problems. But if we do not want to confront our problems, then we collapse and then we experience fear. This fear is translated into our body in the cerebral brain tension, and as a consequence, we even can suffer from cerebral infarct. No? So, because there is no blood flowing to our brain, there is no refreshment of the brain, we are experiencing so much tension that we even can face very severe, very important health problems. And there is another cause for these severe chronic headaches, which is not analyzing your own emotions. This is the question. This question is because you are not giving a good interpretation of your own culture means you are behaving from your own subculture of being, means you have your own pramana, your own preconceptual ideas, which you think are very good for you, but actually are giving you a lot of problems. Actually they are not making you happy. But because you think they are good, because you have always had such ideas coming from your past, coming from your society, coming from your family environment, from the school, from the college, from the everybody thinks about that, no? But these ideas that everybody think are correct, maybe not that correct as you may think, no? So stop and think twice, because maybe you have to change your subculture of thinking, your subculture of being. For example, if we do not analyze our emotions, we may become a person who is aggressive, that criticizes others, but does not criticize himself, does not analyze, see what my defects are, what my wrong areas are, what my conflicts are. And then this tension we are suffering, and this tension coming from question that we do not want to face the conflicts, our own conflicts, we transfer to others. And in the end, we think we have no problems, but the problems is the others. Others are giving us a lot of problems. But that is not the reality. That is only how our mind tried to give us a comfortable way of thinking that makes us think, yeah, we are doing fine. But that is not reality. Reality is that you have to solve your own problems. Reality is that you should not transfer your own miseries, your own wrong areas, your own faults and vices to others. You have to solve your own problems and your own conflicts. Don't avoid confrontation. Don't avoid it, because it will lead you to the same suffering once and once again. It makes no point at all. It makes no sense. What you have to do is to have a strategy, vital strategy. That is the important thing we have to develop. If we have a strategy of living, then we know how to deal with the problems we face every day, every day. But if we want to take the position of the victim and say the others are the guilties, this is very comfortable for us. Oh, I'm not the guilty one. I'm doing the things fine, but the others are making me a lot of problems. That is a childish way of thinking. It's very immature. If you want to take the responsibility of your life, don't try to blame others of your own conflicts and difficulties. You have to solve your own difficulties by yourself with a good vital strategy. For example, it's very important, the figure or the character of the role of the father. The father is the person who gives us the example in life of how to behave and how to uh, develop our personality in life. If the figure, the role of our father is a strong father, is a positive father that gives us example of how to behave positively in life, then we have had a good teaching in him, and then we know how to confront life. And we have the basis to continue and keep on learning in this way. The problem comes when the figure of our father was a weak personality and weak character, then we have not learned how to cope with problems. We have not learned how to behave in society and how to deal with conflicts and how to confront life. This will cause quite a lot of difficulties when we grow up, and if we have not had the good example in our father, we will have difficulties to find also other examples in other people, in other masters, to learn how to succeed in confronting life. And therefore, it would be very much likely that we develop a personality of victim, which we have to avoid 100%. The personality of the one who victimizes himself is absolutely your ruin, it will give you a lot of problems. It will make you a lot of unhappy, and you will give a lot of unhappiness to others as well. It's a very negative position of yourself in life. You have to be positive, as always we say. You have to always try to have a positive mind, and the mind of that who is a victim is the mind of the person who is continuously complaining, and complain is a destroyer of happiness, is a destroyer of intelligent capacities, and absolutely gives no solution for your personal emotional conflicts. Is the solution? It's only the position of the child who doesn't want to confront and who victimizes. To establish a comparison with the Bhagavad Gita is the position of Arjuna when he is in the middle of the battlefield and he drops his weapons and says, I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight those in front of me. I don't think I have enough good reason to do that. No? This is the position of the victim. The Bhagavad Gita is teaching us that is not the position we have to take in life. We have to take the weapons and we have to fight like Arjuna. And thanks God, we have the masters like Lord Krishna, who teaches us how to confront life in a positive, good way in our lives. So another question we have to understand is that yoga gives us the weapons to give this solution to these problems of conflicts we are experiencing. And there are 3 fields that we have to cover. According to the vision of yoga, you have to deal with yourself within your physical aspect, your psychological aspect, and your spiritual aspect. This makes yoga an art of living. So, it is important that we consider that we have the teachings from our masters that can help us, that give us light to solve our conflicts. It's not that we are in such a certain level that we cannot get solution and get out of the problems by ourselves, but we have a different broad perspective and higher perspective from the masters, which guide us into the light path to drive us in the correct path of intelligence and light to our lives. In this sense, we have learned that in order to heal the mind, we require good management of our emotions. We need prayers. We need ideology. We need a higher vision of ourselves, not a mundane vision of ourselves, but a higher spiritual. vision of who we are, and we have to change the way we think. All this builds up the first important lesson that we are learning in the Adhyatma Vidya. And the more we cultivate all these aspects of good management of emotions, that we do our japa, we do our prayers, we pray our, we elevate our prayer to the gods to help us, to put the divine thoughts in our minds. When we have philosophy, when we have ideology, then we have criteria to solve the problems. When we have a higher vision of who we are not the body, we are not the mind, we are not the thoughts, then we understand that, then our understanding is much higher, is much better. So the more we have ideology and the more we practice such key points I have given, the richer we are. The less we have them, the bigger is the prison in our minds. So we have to understand that we have to find the problems within our emotions. Where? In our own body. We have said that these emotional questions, we suffer them in the body, and the body is the field of study of ourselves. The body gives us the clues to find where are the problems in our emotions. So we, first of all, very important, remember, you have to get rid of your negative thoughts. We have to avoid any little negativity in your mind. This will destroy your mind. This will create your vikalpas. Vikalpas in yoga means your negative tendencies. Avoid them as the evil. Don't admit any negative thought in your mind. Be always positive. Watch positive. Look positive. Understand with positivity your life. How you do this? You should be grateful for what you have. You should be grateful for what you receive in life, for the food you eat, for the air you breathe, for the sun that gives you light and warmth. There are so hundreds and thousands and millions of reasons to be grateful and to be humble in life, that there is no reason for keeping any single thought of negativity in your mind. Otherwise, we are very, very little and very ungrateful people. Very ungrateful. So stop victimizing, stop thinking you are the belly button of the world. Accept your conflicts, accept your difficulties, accept yourself, and forgive yourself, accept others, forgive what others have done to you, and try to be and try to live your life with positivity and with positive thoughts and with gratefulness, and enjoy your life, because life is wonderful if you always put divine positive thoughts in your mind. And there is much more to speak about this topic, but we'll do some other time. Otherwise, I'm taking the risk of boring you too much. So take into consideration that what I have teach you, what I have explained you, it's very big teachings from our Gurudev and very big teachings coming from the teachings of the yoga and from the teachings of the Vedas. So it's the wonderful tradition we follow, and it's the wonderful tradition that give us light, give us solution, and give us peace in our hearts. We are very grateful. We are very fortunate to have Vedic culture in our lives. So take advantage of the knowledge and be positive, humble, and grateful, and enjoy life. Hari Om.